Hmm. Well, good morning, guys. I don't know what was wrong with my audio, but I think that when I restarted things, it didn't quite catch everything correct. But that's okay. We'll deal with it. I fixed everything. I required a restart and then it fixed it. So I don't know what's going on. Why I need a restart every day, but this sure is annoying. Well, anyways, Ninja Trader's still loading up. Could you hear Ninja Trader 8 starting there? But you probably couldn't. What she here can you hear?
Bud, what are you doing?
Okay, that works. Yeah, now it works. Oh, that's weird. The stinger didn't do it. I mean, we need the stinger, man. We're gonna try it again. We're gonna try it again. All right, you ready? No, what? What? It's still not working. It must just be OBS. That's so weird. How does it work? Audio, desktop audio mic. I don't know. Oh, so interesting. So interesting. I bet a restart of OBS would fix it. What happened was I had the stupid um we're gonna fix that. We're gonna fix that. I know how to fix this. I know how to fix this. Okay, wait, I don't know how to fix this. Windows 10 startup programs. Startup apps. This should not be on. I don't need that. I don't need Spotify either. Cool. All right, that fixes that. Okay, so let us start the chat for you guys. I promise I'm getting to good stuff. We got good stuff here. We got don't go nowhere. You watching this on replay? It's gonna be a good stream. Okay, so if we come back in here, we've had pretty solid move up overnight. The equities definitely moved higher. Treasuries refusing to go down, but here on the open they sold. And I'm thinking that if I could even just get this right here, I'd be happy with it. We got some news here in about 5 minutes. Cool. Okay, text to speech is on. All right, so let's go and look at the numbers and stuff. Oh, it says I'm not logged into Twitter. Hold on. Cool. And over here, give me the day overview. All right. So today we're looking for continuing jobless claims, 100 and 1720. Initial jobless claims 215K. That's the number that we really care about. Nobody cares about this number. That's funny that they show that. Okay. Unit labor costs 1.4 and non-farm productivity. We're looking for a reading of 1.6. So we got that coming out in a few minutes. I suspect that that productivity might be up. Jobless claims, who knows? I wouldn't be surprised if jobless claims is actually up a little bit. Wouldn't be surprised. Overall, though, I want to be short going into this. The reason is that so yesterday the CME posted something saying that the open interest is the highest that it has ever been in ZB. Can you believe that? I'd be interested to know what Bots thinks about that. Can you believe that we have the highest open interest that we have ever seen in ZB? How is that? How is that possible? How are we so high? You know, it's just crazy. But it is apparently it is. So all right, well we got to take. That's cool. That's cool. Now on the E-mini, I'm not so sure. Like I think that the bonds could come back, but the E-mini's doing okay. I guess it wouldn't be like terrible if we bought at 33.45. I wouldn't be too hasty though. They might retrace a little bit. I don't know if that's a great spot. Oh, that's interesting. So they were almost hitting into 19. It pulled, and then they ticked back down, and they stacked at 18.5 and pulled at 18 again. That was a good signal right there that you would have gotten. Oh, we need to add something. I want to add something. Reconstructed tape in the ES H20. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna put that one over here like this. And for now, I'm gonna put it at size filter. Let's filter out to 50. I think 50 is really big. Okay, 45. 45 is the biggest we've seen so far. I'll put the display duration to be permanent. So I want to see what big orders look like in the E-mini and if they have any effect. Cool. So 1 minute while we're waiting, just so that you guys know. So the baby, we had the doctor's appointment. Baby is going to be born tomorrow, and but she doesn't have to be induced tonight. So I will be able to stream a little bit tomorrow. We'll at least be able to watch the ADP, and then we'll get into it. So that's cool. I'm excited about that. I'm excited that I have to stay up all night. Well, I mean, I'm mostly excited to have a baby, but I'm really happy that I have to stay up all night. I was a little miffed about that. Okay, poll. Here's the poll. Okay. Pull up Twitter here. Wuhan's city government says all residents must report their body temperature once per day. The fuck? That's crazy. Okay. Initial jobless claims 202K versus an expected 215K. Less than expected is good. Labor costs 1.4 versus the estimated 1.4, and non-farm productivity slightly under expectations at 1.4 versus 1.6. Okay, so pretty okay numbers. Jobless claims being good. That's good. That's good. Liquidity not quite back yet. They did tick down a little bit. They're fighting them a bit at 17. They are selling. And they are selling. Alligator mixed, but initial jobless claims the most important, so risk on. Amen, brother. Well, the Eamon, he certainly likes it. Good tick up there. But we are starting to see a little bit of blood in the 10-year. Not much downside IMO alligator. Okay. Okay, so we need to come in here and pull up our levels so that we can see where we're at. Okay, so we're not above the opening range low yet. Okay, so that's a big clue right there. Looking at opening range numbers, we're quite up. We're just in a slight pullback potentially. Do we have numbers later today? Fed's Kaplan is speaking. 4-week bill auction. Can you believe that Wuhan is saying all residents must report their body temperature once per day? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? How do they? I don't know. Man, that's just wild. I mean, I suppose that they're trying to say, hey guys, like, we got this under control. But man, just the thought that they even think they can manage that is a little scary to me. Man. I was just looking over at my Twitter and I saw that Donald Trump was complaining about Mitt Romney. I was like, Okay, back down to 16. There's some big liquidity there at 16 and 15.5. It just barely showed up, especially the stuff at 16, because it was at 15.5 before. Okay, the stuff at 16 pulled a little bit. Okay, I can see over here in my tape that there's plenty of big orders in. Yes, so let's try 100. Okay, they just blew right through 16. Now they're blowing into 15.5.
George says, do you look at market internals?
Okay, so what do you mean by market internals? Gonna have to be more specific. That's a word that might mean different things to different people. Interestingly enough, that
George says NYSE tick breath AD.
Oh, yes. You know what? I wish that I could, but I don't really get the data for things like the tick. So I don't look at the NYSE tick. I think that it would be useful, for sure. But I mean, this is kind of one of the reasons why I really like bonds is like when I look at bonds, everything that I really need to know about the bonds is happening there in the treasury futures. Whereas in the equities, it's based on an index. So you might see order flow there in the E-mini. It doesn't matter. In fact, I have found that the E-mini traders are wrong a lot. Like the market orders lose so often. Eric Trump tweeting that Nancy Pelosi pre-ripped pages of Trump's Statement of the Union speech. Video shows it's true. I watched the video and it's totally true. I mean, come on. When you watched it, she was going to rip the pages and then the camera went off her, so she didn't do it. And she waited until the camera was on her. So, of course, it was staged. Well, not staged. I don't know if she was planning on doing it before the Statement of the Union speech, but she totally did it to be seen by the media. She thought that it was a brilliant media strategy. I'll say my piece on this and then we'll move on, but because I don't think that it's too interesting or important to the markets at the moment, but get rid of Nancy, guys. If you're a Democrat, talk to your local representative and tell them that Nancy Pelosi needs to go. It's very clear at this point that all of the foibles and nonsense that's going on in the House
George says, okay, thanks.
is related to her. Yeah, George said, yeah. You know what, Georgia? If the tick totally works, and if you go and look on Jigsaw, that's something that Pete has done quite a bit of looking at and talks about, and he has some videos and how he uses the tick together with order flow. That's worth looking at if that interests you. But you can trade without it. I trade without it, and we do okay. Look at that.
Jerry is awake says I want her to take care of my bank loans. Waylone.
You talking about Nancy?
Burning Dawn says Steve in the Jigsaw chat room uses a TAS Edge for S internals. Looks interesting. Ever tried it?
TAS Edge. Is that a program? TAS Edge.
Jerry is awake says yes.
MarketProfileInternals.com. Get inside the S&P. Boom, 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 boom. Inside is the edge. I love reading the marketing materials for trading stuff. They see how they go about it. Activate your day trading advantage. I love it. Okay. Hey, that's a pretty cool looking screenshot. I'll tell you that much. Okay, so it's looking at the tick, I guess. No extra data feed is required. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Hey, thank you for telling me that, Burning Dawn, because I saw somebody post a screenshot of that in the Jigsaw trade room, and I wanted to know
Burning Dawn says
what they were talking
shows
about.
Which stocks are above and below in the SP.
I was like, where did they get that? Because it wasn't it was the breadth stats. I was like, no, it wasn't the breadth stats. It was like, oh, maybe there was another thing, but there was something that kind of seemed to suggest what the range was in the equity market. Well, I tell you what, 8 ticks down in the treasuries is pretty good, but we're still not below 161.00 in ZB, which would be the spot at which we start to get really negative. They're going to test that opening range low, perhaps at 160.30 is possible. That's kind of why I'm leaving this on here, but I should definitely move my stop. This is an amazing trade so far. And it was really as simple as it's too high. Can you believe that? I mean, I saw order flow there that told me that I could hold that spot. And then after I took it, I got a really good signal that said, yeah, we're definitely going short. But wow. What a great trade. I'm very happy right now. And it looks like it's going to go for more. Mnuchin, better idea of virus impact on supply chains in 2 weeks. At this point, we haven't seen big issues with regards to supply chains amid coronavirus outbreak. Reporting on Fox Business interview. Of course, Better China was already closed due to lunar holiday, but they will start next week. Is a good point. So China is closed, has been closed, and it's this kind of a quiet time of year, anyways, for China because of the Lunar New Year. And so when everything gets back up into full swing, and then we can see how much the businesses have actually been affected by it. I thought it was really interesting yesterday. You know, we had that sell in the E-mini that seemed to be coincide with when the World Health Organization was talking and people were concerned about the coronavirus. And then stocks melted right back up. Okay, so there's some volume going through at 14.5. Okay, so according to the latest data in Iowa, it looks like Bernie Sanders actually will end up winning Iowa, which is funny because everybody was freaking out that he was going to lose. Okay, so 8K at 14.5. 8K against the grain there for me. That's maybe a spot that I want to start thinking about getting out, but we probably could wiggle around a little bit here first. Yeah, so how much is this? What is your fair pricing promise? Great, we believe in fair pricing. Great, so why don't you list? Oh, get started now for $147. Well, if it's $147 one time, that's probably fair. That's probably fair. 10K offer? Really? Wow, wow, wow. Who puts 10K, 15K on the offer at the swing low? This might, given that we already moved down 8 ticks, and now we're seeing that, we could have a trend day on our hands in the treasuries. Something we have not seen. That we are very much overdue for, I think. Okay, so that price went bid a little bit and then they stacked on it again. There's still a lot stacking at 14 that wants to fill. Okay, they flipped it and now the offer is pushing them. So there's man.
Harlequin says if it fails and moves back up, then it's Deutsche Bank. They always fail.
As it could be. Oh, that's funny, Harlequin. Oh man, I don't know. Yeah, is so they've just got 12,000 people potentially offsides if they decide to just slice through 14. I mean, I'm sure that it's going to be like an 8K to get through 14 as well, but still. Wow, did you see that at 394 going into it? Like they're hitting it hard. Wow. Okay, so 6K to take it offer, and the offer stacks. So they are just shoving it. Now that can be a signal that they're gonna putter out. But when we have the potential for a trend day, that's something that you see as well. So we don't really know if it's going to be a trend day, but at the moment, I'm starting to see a very good chance that it will be. And when you look at it that way, what we just saw was a level break to the downside. Quite amazing order flow so far today, guys. Hmm. Okay, so the big old iceberg was at 14.5, right? Back up awfully fast there. Big boys had all their fill there. Oh, the E-mini is turning down here. What's going on? Okay, well, I think that's my stop right there.
Harlequin says I remember when Deutsche Bank was in a league with Goldman Sachs. Lol.
Let me redo that. On Twitter, Mnuchin talking about virus impact on Fox News. Fox News business. I want to get closer. Okay, I think that's okay. Ooh, Thomas Sowell tweets, slavery was an ugly, dirty business, but people of virtually every race, color, and creed engaged in it on every inhabited continent, and the people they enslaved were also virtually every race, color, and creed. Yeah, but in
Algo
America,
Lover
it
says
isn't.
ZN traded just shy of 130.055 target thinking face.
Oh, really? Wait, what do you mean just shy? I mean, they went through it. There sure was some wild order flow in there as well. But the E-mini turned down. What are the numbers that you got on the E-mini? That's a big red candle. They get back above 47 though. We could buy. President is willing to cut China tariffs as part of a phase 2 deal, says Mnuchin on Fox Business.
Algo Lover says 8:22 a.m. Algo Lover S if buyers hold their pullback above 3,329.25 then 3,368 target. If 3,329.25 breaks before that target trades, then anticipate a deeper pullback nerd face.
Interesting. I'm a little conflicted because when I look at the treasuries, I see even after that deep pullback, I see a really strong potential setup for a move down today. I just think that open interest in treasuries is at all-time highs and that there's not really a reason for treasuries to be this high.
Gary Rich says at Algo any levels for YM?
I think that a lot of people are going to get squeezed out. But that move down certainly didn't seem to do it for them. But people were trying to like really I don't know what the word is, really try to pile on down there at the bottom. But it looks like they held it in the end. But only because the E-mini just kind of took a dive. Now, when I look at the E-mini, I mean, there's no reason in my mind that it can't continue to go up. But we've had a really good uptrend, and I really don't know. But Algo Lover says 68. That sounds like a reasonable number to me. I don't know if that's a number that we would get to today, but I'm based on what we've been doing lately, that totally makes sense to me. So I don't know. Now that's interesting. The productivity was less than expected, but Trading Floor Audio says U.S. productivity increases in 2019 at fastest pace in 9 years. E-mini continues to sell. And Treasury's back up. And why are they going down? It only explanation that I have is coronavirus. I don't know, folks. We caught +8 though. That's kind of like 8 to 16. If I get 8 to 16, like, I'm good. I'm happy.
Algo Lover says at Gary Rich watch all the indices but rarely trade other than S&P. So in short, nope, okay hand.
Oh. I mean, you could probably extrapolate out what it's supposed to be in YM and Q based off of what it is in ES, right? Could get pretty close at least. Then factor in the spread.
Gary Rich says thank you.
Conway calls for Pelosi to be censured for ripping up Trump streets. Do you think that they're going to censor Nancy Pelosi? I don't know, but I think that if Donald Trump wins re-election, that Nancy should go. I think she should go right now, but there's no way she stays speaker if Donald Trump gets reelected. No way. You Democrats, at that point, you got to be saying, like, enough is enough. Nancy, you've failed us for the last time, Nancy. I need. There we go. Hold on a second.
Ace.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Oh, there's too much music in this clip. There's too much music in this clip. I can't play this clip. Okay. But just imagine Darth Vader telling Nancy, "You failed me for the last time, Nancy." By the way, Ace, how have you been doing this week? You got okay trades this week? No. Yeah, it's not gonna work.
Gary Rich says yeah right on Pelosi. Did Medusa have many snake heads? Algo Lover says Tuesday 8:15 a.m. Algo Lover, CL if sellers hold this bounce below 52, then 48.75 target. If 52 goes bid before trading lower, then anticipate squeeze higher. Nerd face sellers must break 50.25 to confirm.
Okay. It's just on my mind because I was arguing with people on Facebook about it. I'm sorry, I know that it's probably not the most interesting thing for everybody. Like, it's done and she did the dumb thing and like who cares, but okay, so they come back down pretty fast there.
Ace Trade says yeah, it's been profitable. I've been working on some other projects. I'll explain later.
Oh, okay. I thought we were doing a test. So I was wondering if there was anything unusual about your results this week, but I guess not. No, I was arguing with people about it on Facebook the other day, and one person was like, "No, Nancy's great. I love everything that she does." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you keep losing." Like, at what point do you sit down and you say, "Hey, maybe this isn't working"? This is a good question. In trading, at what point do you sit down and say, "This isn't working"?
Ace Trade says lol, I knew you would think that.
Yeah, I know. We were doing an experiment. Don't worry about it, guys. Don't worry about it. That's funny. It's fun because you're starting to get to the point where you know how I think. That's great. Okay, so they pushed into the opening range, and now ZB looks like they're going to try and reject them back up. So I'm not quite sure what to think about it now. Except for that, I got 8 ticks, so hey, why should I complain? So when you say other projects, are you talking about other trading projects?
Gary Rich says arguing with a leftist is like wondering why dogs lick their butts and wanna say hi.
Yeah, but the thing was is the people I was arguing with, I don't really consider to be like rabid leftists per se. Like they're leftists, but well, here's the thing that I thought was interesting about it was that it was a complaint about how uncivil politics have become, is what it was. And I said, get rid of Nancy Pelosi. You'll note that when Nancy Pelosi became Speaker of the House, and I'm talking about like the first time back in like what 2006 was it, right? Like the tenor of politics changed. I don't think people realize the impact, the control that the Speaker of the House has on messaging and so forth. Like, you know, they steer the Democrat Congressional Committee and all of these things and base their electoral strategy. She has a lot of control and power. And, you know, there's kind of been this idea that Nancy Pelosi was forced into doing impeachment. Like, she tried to hold them back, but her members, they forced her into doing it. That's not what happened. I'm convinced
Algo
now that
Lover
that's not
says
what happened.
ZN I'd still be bearish if sellers continue to hold MKT below 130, 270 nerd face.
Okay. I mean, I still feel negative. It's just a question at this
Algo
point
Lover
of
says
where I could
HAGD,
actually
thumbs up.
get in, where I could actually get in at a reasonable price. I mean, I guess we could have taken 14 there. Look at how easily they're hitting into it. Wow. It's funny because we got out. Where did we get out at? I think we got out at like 15. It was a pullback, and now they're just blowing right through it. But I think we're a little too late on this one. I don't know if... Well, I guess since we're at the opening range low in ZB, I don't want to hit into an iceberg, though. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. Whoa. Look at that.
Algo Lover says the best entry was higher, while discussing other stuff face with tears of joy.
Yeah, probably. I don't. I mean, I was watching it. I didn't really see anything. I must need to focus better.
Algo Lover says
that
okay,
right
hand
there.
thumbs up.
That right there is exactly what I thought might happen. Not that I want to buy it, but you know, I was worried about selling into that it was going to peter out. This really looks to me like buyers are playing defense. So I still feel like that if the sellers eventually win out over this range and we move down, that we could have a trend day. But we'll see. The kind of moves that we're seeing today
Harlequin
are
says
things
maybe
that I've
things
seen
would
on
be better
trend
if you
days.
had more than 2 parties. Honestly, not a big fan of the 2-party system.
Yeah, I don't know. I say get rid of Nancy first and then see how things change. I think you might be surprised. She's been in power for a really long time, you know, since 2006. Okay. 14 years. My whole adult life. And I'm just telling you, I watched politics back then too. Things changed when she became speaker. And I was, you know, when she was out, things were better. And then everybody was like, oh, we need Democrats in there to put a check on Donald Trump. And I'm like, yeah, but you'll get Nancy Pelosi, which is worse. Anyways, this whole theory that it was Nancy was trying to hold the Democrats back, I think was a lie.
Harlequin says tell that to Angela Merkel, lol.
She totally wanted to do it, and she just knew that it was not politically wise to do. So she held off until she thought that she had the news story or whatever to get the public behind her, and then she jumped the gun. So I think that Nancy, was totally down with the whole thing, and she wasn't holding anybody back. I think that Nancy Pelosi is one of the primary driving forces behind the Democrat strategy on messaging and in terms of elevating really radical politicians on their side and all of these things. And I also think that she's doing
Gary
a really
Rich
bad
says
job.
The earnings are coming in decent, not awesome, just okay. Let's see if the Dow pops at the open and wait for a reversal. Just 1 week ago everyone thought the world was gonna burn.
Right. It's funny how quickly things turn. Okay. Well, 13.5. Some possible downside there, but I don't know. So the move down to 13.5, 13 was really fast, and there was a lot of volume on it. So it makes sense to see a little bounce here, but we already had a bounce. So I don't like the way the tape is sticking around, though. I really don't. Really don't like the way they're doing, because they're I just lost my train of thought. They're ticking through prices way too easily. Anyways, this is a better question than going back to trading. At what point do you decide that something is a failure? Because in trading, something could be wrong for a long time, and then it still be a profitable strategy, right? I'm usually like 2 weeks to a month. If something's not working, then I usually give up on it. But maybe I give up on them too easily. But I have to say, 14 years. 14 years. Maybe it's time to admit that it's not working. Democrats, just maybe get rid of her. It's not like you're missing out on much. There's plenty of other people out there that are radical that can take, that you'll like, that you could replace. I'm just saying, just try it. Get back to me. Tell me how it goes. Man, so now they're hitting into 12.5. But again, ticking too easily.
Harlequin says Hillary Clinton for House Speaker. Let's do it.
Right. Good grief, dude. Good grief, Harlequin. Man. I don't know who is it that's like the top ranking Democrats. China's Xi says hope countries follow World Health Organization's guidance on travel to Xinhua. China's Xi says China's virus prevention work has achieved positive results. 113 stacking hard. But they're not hitting 12.
Now you have it.
Hey, I think that Hillary Clinton would be a better speaker than Nancy Pelosi. Yes. She would. She'd be a tough speaker to go against. Of course, I hate Hillary Clinton, and I kind of shudder to think of what kind of policies she would put through. But I think that at the very least, that this kind of like the tenor of the battle would change. Part of this has to do with how Nancy fights. Okay, 12.5. Iceberg. Uptrend broken, pullback sold. We're below the opening range low. Well, now we're in a spot I can sell it. Okay. Ticked up at 13. ZB or ES still kind of a little shaky.
Harlequin says Hunter Biden for House Speaker. I think this one is better. Or let's resurrect Jeffrey Epstein because he didn't kill himself.
I mean, if you could get Hunter into the House, let's do somebody that's actually in the House of Representatives. Who do we have in the House of Representatives that you think would be terrible? I mean, there's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but of course there's no chance of her she's not senior enough. So we'd have to look at seniority. Let's see here, most senior Democrats in House. Seniority in the United States House of Representatives. Current seniority list.
Gary Rich says crude is in deflationary cycle. Watch out, 48 crude soon to come.
So there was a moment there where we could have sold 13.5, but I was like, they're wiggling it too much. So at the moment, they're doing this thing where like, this is always the pullback trade, right? It comes down here and then they start wiggling around a ton and you try and get in anywhere in here and you have a good chance of getting stopped out if you're trying to hold 2 ticks and you don't know if they're going to pull back significantly or they're going to turn back down. I think there's a really high probability that they're going to turn back down, but I'm not seeing a spot that I can take it. If I see a level break setup, I might take that. Okay, well, they took 12.5 just like it was nothing. So, 11.5 was previous day's low. Is that right? It is. That is correct, sir. Still not doing it. This might be a spot that we could take the E-mini, though. In fact, I think right here. Yeah, right here. Let's try it. Okay, so here I'm looking through the list. Most senior Democrats. Steny Hoyer. Okay, Hoyer would be okay. He's old. Captor, never heard of him. Visclocki, DeFazio, Lewis. And then Pelosi. Lone, Engel. Okay, so Elliot Engel of New York is a solid candidate right there. Okay. The E-mini is making me chase it. Wonder if John's still there. I'm wondering what he thinks about the chart pattern in the E-mini at the moment because we're getting some interesting bars.
Harlequin says don't trade a mini. It is not volatile enough. Go for Tesla. This shit looks fun right now. Daily range above $100 sounds fun.
Right? Oh my gosh. Tesla is such a mess right now. I'm still thinking about that. And I'm just like, well, we're thinking about this. Going back to the Nancy Pelosi thing, where it's like, hey, I'm sitting here like, hey, Nancy Pelosi's not a very good speaker. How do you convince people of that? If they're a Democrat and they're predisposed to like her, how do you convince them that she needs to go? And then it made me think of Tesla because, like, everybody that knew anything about markets was saying, hey, this Tesla thing doesn't look like good. And yet people were buying it hand over fist. Like, how they're like, what can you do to convince them? And at this stage, I feel like the only thing I can do is yell really, really loudly. And then when everybody ignores me, turn around and say, haha, see, I told you so. But then what happens is everybody that thinks they know what's going on says that, and then there's just a bunch of noise. And maybe you're wrong, and it sure looks bad if you're wrong. So is that really a solution? So what do you do? It's just like a really weird thing. Okay, well, the E-mini had a little bit of a tumble there that I'm disappointed in, but the Treasury's still kind of in a spot that suggests they could just keep going. The volatility died down and they're still at lows. I think that could push the Treasuries down. 11.5 is previous low. Oh, by the way, I get a signal, so if we took it at 29.30 or so in ZB, we should be able to get 3. 27? 27, let's say. Well, it's a lot of icebergs in ZN, but it continues to trade through. Okay. Clicky, clicky. Okay. I'm getting a sound that suggests to me that we're going to have another number here. Oh, Fed's Kaplan is going to speak. Okay. So I would think that maybe some guys in the treasuries are going to want to get out off of that. Forex Factory, February 6th. Due to speak at the 2020 Business Outlook Conference in Dallas. Okay. Good little run there in ES. They're going to hit into 47, which would take the hour positive. Alligator says tempted to fade it, but I don't want the sucker roll. Okay. Alligator agrees with me and says he's on the sidelines. Hmm. Well, if the E-mini really starts pushing, it could really shove the treasuries down, man. Also, there's this target down here, 130.060. Looks really juicy. Is there orders? There's not orders down there. There's stuff at 05 though. Ugh. Minution saying we would have hit 3%, but because of Boeing and coronavirus, probably we will not. Still talking. Okay, now I'm seeing a level break set up in ZN at 12. I think it's too close to the E-mini for me to be taking that one. Okay. That was odd. Nope. Okay. It's doing weird stuff, guys. Now, when that happens, do we see? We do. Relatively large orders.
Bots says PM'd you in Discord.
Okay. $33.40. Well, I think I have to take that off there. Okay, let's look at what he's got.
Harlequin says, who do you think are the biggest players during the overnight session? Banks like HSBC or BNP Paribas? Always wondering who is responsible for those big overnight moves like yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know which banks are the most influential in the European session, but certainly, I mean, there's going to be a lot of banks. There's going to be a lot of foreign funds too, though. Okay. So I see that expanding range you got there. Yeah, 33. Well, where do you get 40 from? Okay. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. It was kind of interesting how the selling came in there though at around 33.45. I mean, like they were buying pretty good. The everything looked positive to me, and it just kind of like died really fast. The treasury's up a couple of ticks as well. So I don't know if somebody said something. There must have been some sort of that kind of looked like that was Twitter robots or something, but so I don't know. But I think we managed that one okay. We didn't quite get our 2 points. We lost 1 point. That's okay. So tell me, John, what do you think of this though? So part of what was
Bot
making me
says if
take
price
it,
breaks 3,340.50, they should test Globix Open at 3,337.
I saw this green hammer, and then an inside bar, and then up above all my lines, and that's what made me buy. Um, and I got okay excursion on it, but it didn't turn out.
Bot says maybe test overnight low at 3,332.5.
This is interesting that you're have it
Shahab
negative.
Hadidi says, do you still trade crypto and what thoughts on price?
So
Bot
Shahab
says sorry, say again?
Hadi. Well, let me answer this question. So I haven't taken any positions in cryptocurrencies for a while, but I still watch it closely, and I still post my indicator, which is on my Patreon. If you look in the video description below, when I look at Bitcoin, I can see they had a pretty good move overnight. I can also see that the cumulative delta really took off on that move. It seems to me like there is a lot of irrationality going on in this market now. We are not quite to like crash prices yet, but we're awfully close. So we'll see what happens. But it's kind of funny the way that it goes, because there's like, oh yes, there's a lot of risk off trade, but then when the risk off trade goes away, Bitcoin stays there and pushes higher. So it seems to me that they don't really care what's happening. Okay, so here's the thing I was seeing again, John. Here's like this green bar right here, this hammer. It's got a long tail, but it's a green bar. And then we had an inside bar. And so the next bar I took it long, expecting it to break out. And it did, but then it fell. So I think that I took a good trade and it just didn't turn out. But you're looking at something else. It's interesting that what you're looking at seems so negative, and all of a sudden the sellers seem to be in like serious control here. Now I probably might not matter and after the open, so let's like let the open do its thing and then we can take something. I'm kind of wondering if I'm kind of wondering if they'll try and sell the E-mini on the open and then buy it like they do always, you know. I need to go check the roads. Hold on a second.
Bot says but your green bar and your inside bars were both down close bars, so why would the next bar suggest higher if only one up close bar?
Wait, but your green bar and your inside bars were both down close bars, so why would the next bar suggest higher if only one up close bar? Well, how is that? How are they down close bars? Well,
Ace Trade says Chop City.
I mean, the green one is an up close bar. I guess I don't know what the oh wait. Oh, are you saying that because it's green, because it's filled in, it actually was a down close? I don't know. I just read it as, well, I don't know. Okay. I kind of read it as that sellers were overextending down.
Bot says yes.
Okay. Gotcha. But it still kind of gave us a little bit. I guess it just was not quite enough. So I wouldn't even say it was a bad trade, but I got you. It wasn't a bad trade, but I expected it to go for a lot more. And I think that's a reasonable explanation, sure.
Shahab Hadidi says made. Shahab Hadidi says take a look at this pattern I found. Take a look at it right now if you can. Check Bitcoin price chart from the 6th of February 2018, the 6th of March, the 6th of April, the 6th of May. Every 6th of the month the top and bottom of trend was
made. Well, it definitely seems to me like there is some sort of strange cycle that is happening with the Bitcoin futures now, where like they don't really start trading it until the start of the month, but when they get into that third Thursday or whatever it is, that's like the end of the cycle. When the CME futures are closing, I guess. But look at this. I mean, look at this move, man. There's a lot of people involved in that one. It seems to me like the buyers are finally getting the crowd to come in.
Shahab Hadidi says like the trend changed on every 6th.
Okay. I'd have to pull out a little bit bigger of a chart. But if that's the case, then you're saying that they're going to turn around today, huh? I would be careful with a correlation like that. Sounds like the sort of thing that's like, so here's the question. Why?
Bot says if the bars are closing down, it suggests they are not that interested in moving higher, and if they are running into rejection or at least a lack of conviction for higher.
Well, it looks to me, though, like it's kind of more of an imbalance. Like the sellers are trying to sell it and are overextending and getting caught. Even on that one, like there was a big sell. Look, we're right back to where I bought at. Jake Sherman says, we will hear from Speaker Pelosi at 10:45 a.m. Oh, so is she going to resign now? She should. Anyways, if Bitcoin is finally getting big guys to buy in, then that might mean that those guys can get out and they'll just drop it. And you get all these bag holders.
Shahab Hadidi says the dates I've found were 6th, 16th, 26th.
Okay. I will investigate that. I would have to have a much... I would have to pull up a lot more data.
This is so weird.
I'd have to pull up a lot more data. But the thing is if we can't come up with an explanation for why it happens on those particular dates, then we may just be reading something into noise. You know? Like if there was a key date, like there was a settlement date, or there was something that happens on the 6th of every month that would affect Bitcoin, then it would be something to really watch for. But if it's just something that we're just kind of noticing is happening lately, we might be reading noise, right? So we got to try and find out why. I always say don't do a trade unless you know why that trade works. Like if you have data that backs up that it's a trade, cool, but I still wouldn't be taking it unless you have data that explains why it works.
Shahab Hadidi says look at 2,626 Jun, top was made, the 26th of July 2018 top was made again, but you're right, we need more data.
Yeah. All I can say is that my data and it has a pretty good historical record, but of course you can only have so much of a historical record with Bitcoin.
Shahab Hadidi says what do you think of the Bitcoin futures gap?
But, the data that I have says that we're way overbought. So, what do I think about the Bitcoin futures gap? So, I mean, I haven't seen a gap. It was, I don't know. When I look at, I guess I don't have my chart set up to show a gap, but. Okay, so on the open, there was an initial sell. They pushed it down below the previous hour's low. I'm already seeing it. I'm like, they're gonna buy it. Ooh, that was a really ugly sell right there. There was a lot of volume on that one. Okay, well, John was saying 40.
Shahab Hadidi says do all gaps need to be filled, and could you give your opinion on them?
They don't need to be filled, but on a regular instrument, they tend to. Now, for the The CME futures, was there a gap? I don't know. We can pull that up in a bit. When it's a gap between expirations, that too is something that you can look to fill, but it could take a really long time. Like I can remember one time, that's a trade that John loves to take, and I remember this one time it was like halfway through the contract before they finally filled that gap. So that one's a little bit like, should you sell Bitcoin now on expectation of that gap filling? That's probably, that might not be a good entry, even if it does fill, because they could continue to go higher. And in Bitcoin, even though I'm kind of bearish on Bitcoin, I still see the short term as bullish. Although that action overnight
Shahab
definitely
Hadidi says 97% gaps have been filled.
Definitely could be toppy behavior. I don't know. Okay, so definitely some strong selling on the open. It looks like they are running out of steam a little bit.
Bot says 3,340.50 held on first test.
Yeah. Should we just buy it here? 41. I don't know about that. I don't think they're done yet. Huh. You see the buyers come back in off of that test. So sellers testing lower. Then the buyers come in.
Bot says first bar of the new hour.
Okay. I want to wait still. I know that this is a time period that's really volatile and that I have a hard time trading, but they came back pretty hard there.
Bot says I'm not ready to buy this yet.
Yeah. Okay, here's the seller sweeping again. Ooh, good dish. Ooh, he really hit that one hard, but they ran right into that 40 again. Well. Okay, it looks like he's getting
Uzi Knesset says why
though.
Seth sounds so somber?
Do I sound somber? I don't know. I guess I'm a little disappointed right now because I really want to make a good trade in the E-mini and I'm not really seeing an opportunity. I'm somber because I'm just so upset that Nancy Pelosi has such disrespect for the United States.
Uzi Knesset says sound a lil bummed. I missed the bit of the morning cause I had to go to vet.
No, I think I'm not super hyper like I was yesterday. I'm trying to focus. Here, guys. Come on. I don't know. I don't know if you can buy that anymore. It's interesting. Interesting. I mean, I don't necessarily see a reason for them to be selling except for for technical reasons and trade and stuff. So and I said, hey, the E-mini looks like, the treasuries look like they could have a trend day down. Well, I think that the chances for a trend day are significantly diminished now. We could still move down a little bit, but probably not a trend day. $38. Well, they could make a run for this profile around 33, and then below that, there's 25. The open is not as great as pre-market gains, but stocks are opening higher. True. Okay. And also 35 or so is like the previous open. Here, wait. Previous close?
Harlequin says maybe profit taking? I mean the Amini made more than 120 points in just 3 days. Lol.
Yeah. Well, uh, okay, just note that they bounced off of the previous high, okay? um it seems to me in this environment lately that they always sell on the open. They always sell on the open, and you will see very negative cumulative delta
Bots says
negative.
3,337 to test the Globix Open for the win, Bob.
Okay, yeah, there's Globix Open. I don't list that. I probably
Shahab
should.
Hadidi says if I offered you $1,000 to get advice from you on trading and tools you like to use on your order flow very briefly on a call, would you take it?
No. I don't. I mean that's very flattering, but I number one, I just don't really have the time to do something like that right now. And number two, I really don't think that there's anything that I can sit down and tell you in a personal session that I can't do on stream that's worth $1,000. I don't know. To me, the value that I think I can provide is you guys can sit with me and watch, and I might not always be the best trader, but we create a community and we work together and we figure things out together. And the reason that I think that that's more valuable, okay, their buyers are
Ask
making
Our Money
some
Machine
progress.
says, mate, how can you trade and talk? Don't get angry. I am just asking, can you be focused this way 100%?
You might be right. You might be right.
Gary Rich says NASDAQ dragging the others down. Eat crap, Tesla. Elon down billions, haha, scam artist man.
I think I need to wait a little bit if I want to buy it. So anyways, the thing is that I think that some people have this idea that you just get the strategy from somebody and then you just always trade that and you can be profitable.
RJ Wheel says, how can I trade and listen?
It doesn't work. Doesn't work that way. It's a constant struggle.
Uzi Knesset says it, Gary Rich, yes.
And so that's why I'm a little kind of, not that I can do mentoring at some point, because I definitely think that I can go in and I can look at somebody's strategy and I can say, okay, here's some problems that I see with it, and here's some things that you might need to improve or work on. You would need to have stats, but that's something that I can do. I don't think one session would be worth $1,000. Okay, but that's something that I would like to do in the future, but not right now because I'm having a baby, and I wouldn't charge thousands of dollars. Oh my gosh. It makes me mad when I see people charge like $5,000 for a package in mentoring. Like, I just don't think
RJ Wheel says you got that right, Seth. It's gotta come from within. There's no leading horses to water in this biz.
Yeah, exactly.
Gary Rich says we gonna vaporize the Euro session highs and drive to lows.
I want you to live the experience with me, to see the struggle of trading and the constant struggle of developing a strategy and updating it to account for current market conditions and finding new edges and having your edge disappear and starting something new. You can live that with me. That I think is valuable. And I can't necessarily charge for that because, hey, sometimes we lose big. Yeah. But I'm flattered that you make this suggestion. Thank you. Okay, so can we be focused 100%? Probably not. But the benefits outweigh the negatives. Okay, they're still selling. And at this point, I have to think, okay, can I sell it? Well, okay, so they just took the day negative at what? The open was 33.37, right? Yep, 33.37 is what John had as well. Goodish. Opening range low, 33.75.
Live Action says with two main trades, the fade or breakout, this game is pretty complicated.
Yeah. Okay, and now they are breaking through opening range low of the overnight session. So that is now past overnight low.
Ask Our Money Machine says, did you saw VIX didn't broke new low despite SPX made new high? That sounds scary.
Not necessarily. I mean, the thing is that the VIX has been getting sold by people. Hardcore people have been selling volatility, and for them to back off on that trade a little bit is not unusual to me.
Gary Rich says, damn, this YM cow milking is fun.
Well, congratulations if you caught that short. I'm still not even to where I'm comfortable taking a trade time-wise, so that's why I'm kind of sitting on my hands. Wanted to buy it, though, of course. Now that we're below the opening range low, I think that in order for me to take it long, we have to get back above 33.37, don't we? Of course, if
Gary
that's
Rich
what we
says,
think is
save your
going to happen.
$1,000 ROFL ROFL.
Yeah, now
Live
you
Action
can.
says, Geesh closed my long T note at VPOC that really worked well, especially in ZB.
Now, if you want to support the stream, what you can do is we have a Patreon for $5 a month. So if you can contribute to the Patreon, and I give you guys charts. I think of Patreon as like a like a tip, really. But I'm giving you something back in return. I do give you the Bitcoin charts every day, which is cool. But it's kind of like a tributary amount. Like it's something that I want everybody to have. But I like to have it at $5 because it shows that people find it valuable. That says to you like, oh, okay, there's like people that actually follow this and have been following it for a long time and find it useful. So there's that. Or you can even donate tips here on the stream, which is great. And sometimes people do that. But you don't have to do that because I just enjoy trading. And if you guys want to watch, then that's great. And maybe the day comes that people don't want to watch anymore, and that's just fine too. Okay, Live Action says, close my long T-note at VPOC. That really worked well. Okay, that's good. So did you catch all that from like 13? Where did you catch it from, Live Action? Okay, well, the E-mini's catching a little bit here. Man, we'd really have to come up, though. I'm thinking 33, 34, but I don't know. Right there. What? That was weird. When I put my order on there, somebody stacked on top of me.
RJ Wheel says, YM right to overnight low. Hit hard. Tip. Pay attention to overnight high and low.
Yeah. I do. Well, I mean, have all those levels get marked on my DOM, right? Treasury's suggesting that that's as high as they can go there. Okay. Now I can buy this. I don't know if I'm getting like great risk or anything, but curious how that happened. Nope. Well, my opportunity to get out there, I think, is already. See, I wanted 34. Man. Okay, it's okay. I'll try one more.
Bot says S missed the overnight low by one tick on the first test.
Okay. I don't know if I'm getting a good price here. See that right there? Suggests to me not. Feels bad. I don't know. That feels particularly
Bots says
bad
good
to
call
me.
on lower bots. Thanks, Seth.
Yeah. Well, so I can see here though there's this opportunity. If they get back above 37, this could flip really hard. But uh this is like super speculative what I'm doing right here. It does look like that the selling like really trailed off there though. So I think order flow wise, I think that we're okay to take a long. I don't think that I got a good price though. I really don't like the price that I got. I should have been more patient.
Gary Rich says just tell yourself you never wanna be a statistic. Never become the 90% of traders who lose and blow up accounts.
Okay. That's a little better. Okay, so now they really look like they're going to make that run for 37. Yeah. Well, that could still be a pullback. Let's just be. I got 10.
Jerry is awake says hey that's me at Gary. Bots says I take umbrage with that reference, traders who lose and blow up accounts.
Yeah. I didn't respond to that, but maybe I should now because everybody's blown an account. If the statistic is percentage of traders that blow an account, it's probably 99%. I probably should have had that sitting up there like that. We haven't gotten an up close bar yet, which is curious. It looks to me like they're kind of trying to prevent this bar from
Bots
closing
says I
green.
understood it was part of the apprenticeship.
Yeah,
Gary
right.
Rich says as much as I've donated shouldn't I get 12 months free of Patreon? Lol, just kidding.
Oh, you know what, Gary? If I had a way to do that, I would totally do it. Because you absolutely have. But you still get the messages from when you've donated should still be in the bottom. Yep, there it is. The last donation that Gary made. Thank you very much, by the way. Hope you understand how much I appreciate that. And not only that, but it
RJ
came in
Wheels
handy
says I'm
last
paying
month.
Harvard money in education.
Oh wow, Harvard money, man. Ugh. Well, that's not good. See, if I had caught the right price, I would maybe be happy with what I got on that. See how important catching the right price is?
Live
Now,
Action says ZF entry at 180 but ZB went through VWAP and VPOC like it wasn't there. This is a perfect example of what I talk about all the time, how one will respect tool but others in correlated markets do not. Gary Rich says blow up one account and one only. Not this several before you figure it out. That's terrible.
well, I'm just noticing, by the way, that they bounce with the buyers bounce right off of 37. So it looks like they might be trying to make another move. So let's see what they do. We definitely got the setup that I want to see. Long. Which is a strong down bar followed by a hammer. And the hammer, it was a real hammer. It wasn't just an inside bar this time. Now, the order flow there was a little bit of a sell. But, I don't know. Buyers seem to be holding price okay. If they get another rush of volume to come in, we could move up. Could be really good. They could make a new high. I actually see offer stacking. That's interesting.
Gary Rich says boom locked in 100 on YM. Now it's time to lose it battling Tesla.
All right. You still have those you still short those calls? I bet that's a really bloody pit. Like, I can imagine if this was back in the day, you know, when where there was pits everywhere and all that, that there'd just be, you know, blood stains all over the place from people fighting in Tesla, getting upset. Okay. So the treasuries seem to read that last little bit as significant, and they've been ticking down. Good 3 or 4 ticks now, actually. Oh, come on. 37. Yay. Okay. Now we should be good. That was the day open again. Oh man. There were some orders that went through at 37.25, right? Yeah, there were. Okay. I think I'm okay. It seems like they're fighting over that price a lot, though. No. Why you sell sweep? E-mini, why you sell sweep?
Live Action says but in market profile a little more correlated versus volume, the open volume spike in algos etc. Too many things affecting volume in bad way, but in a funny way it does help.
I'm gonna have to read that again in a second, Live Action, because I think you had a good point there, but I'm having a hard time focusing reading that. I'm really focused on this right now because of that sell sweep. When I'm you know, when we had like that December, it was really bad, you know, a year ago or whatever now. There would be sell sweeps that would come into the market like that, and I am like perpetually like it triggers me. It looks like in this particular market that particular thing, it might not necessarily be a big deal, but it really triggers me. Okay. Well, if they push higher again, if they touch 38, that could be really positive.
Live Action says in nutshell market profile seems semis better today in notes versus volume profile.
Okay. Well, they got an interesting distribution going on between 14 and 16, don't they? So, John, this is what I'm talking about with the daily stuff. 37 is where the day goes negative. They fight over that. They fight hard over it. It's hard to take a trade in that location. Seems better to me to have it go, see that maybe there's some upward momentum and take it 2 points below that and see it go through. And then if you want, you can take it off in the noise in here. But I want to hold it. But, just in that situation, then if it doesn't work out, at the very least, you get scratch. But the entry at 37 doesn't, I don't think is good risk. Okay. So now they're starting to trade some big orders in this location in the E-mini. Even though, but the treasuries are coming down fast again. Oh, they're coming down fast. See them fight it. Okay, there's going to be lots of stops if the buyers pull this off. Okay, so they're touching another higher price. And now they're above the previous day's high. Next number here is the opening range high. Okay. Of opening range high. This trade is looking great now. Nice. Okay, so we get to 44 now. That would be the hour open. Well, we should move this. Look at the treasuries getting creamed.
Gary Rich says day left on the calls. The time decay will accelerate even if Tesla jumps 200 PTS. I'm waiting to sell 1,000 calls with 1 day to go.
Nice. Okay. A little bit of resistance there. Okay. Well, that time they had an easier time with it. Ooh. You notice on those runs that the MES always goes a little farther. It's only 8 o'clock? Well, boys, man. You've been quiet. You're making me think that, it's, late and people are starting to tune
Gary
out.
Rich
But
says
it's
gonna
not.
go long
We're just all really
355
focused
YM.
on this trade, I guess. Okay, they are still fighting at 30. Or sorry, 41. I say 30, that's like where I make 30. I think that we get an inside bar here on this one. Well, we're like really early into the bar, so I shouldn't be saying that, but the cumulative delta is not even like a quarter of the way back. Okay. I'm noticing Zien is turning into Iceberg City now. Seller's fighting hard. There's a little bit of liquidity at 39. Wow, watch when the buyers take it, man, it's just like jump, 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 uptick, uptick, uptick. A little sweep there at 41. Hmm. So it seems like it to me anything over 100 and that E-mini is big. Okay. So that did not end up being an inside bar in the end. I think we could probably still count it as an inside bar, but I take that as a signal of continuation. Signal of continuation. Okay, now they're coming up on the regular session open. Wow, are they going to come up on the regular session open and they're not even going to have even half of the cumulative delta to man, it's again every day, man. So interesting. So that said, this right here, 44, is actually where I should have had my order. Decide that big buy at 35?
Bot says I have to head out. I hope all goes well with no surprises tomorrow for you and the missus at Speculator Seth.
Yep. Well, I will still stream 80p. I think I get to stream for like 30 minutes, and then we gotta leave at 7 o'clock and be to the hospital by 7:30. So I'll see you tomorrow. I think everything sounds like it's all in order and good. So I'm excited. You guys can try and guess how big he's gonna be, but he's probably gonna be like 8 pounds. Yeah, Drown says 8,000 lot printed, and then they came back and only printed one lot and ripped it. I did not see that.
Bot says you should be.
Thank you. Okay, somebody's telling me that there was 1,000 lot in there. In the E-mini? I don't see it, but my history doesn't go back far enough for me to see.
Bot says ciao, waving hand.
Later, John. Thank you. I think that was a good trade. Did you end up taking a trade in that or no? Or did you take the short? 43.
Live Action says I need to correct what I mentioned earlier about MP versus VP. They actually are the same today.
They are the same today.
Live Action says what I was actually referencing was bar chart fractal balance be respected in a correlated way better than VP or MP.
Oh. Wonder if there's anything that we can pull out stats-wise in terms of differences between market profile and volume profile. Come on. I thought they didn't hit it. Maybe I should leave it in there. It came up and I was like, oh, actually, maybe I don't want it. And then they didn't hit it and they turned back down. I'm like, okay, maybe I do. Maybe I do. I don't know. I feel really, what is the word? Flaky, like uncertain. Like, I think that the greed is starting to mess with my head. I don't know if they're going to make it back to the open or not. I see the cumulative delta possibility for it. I think I'm going to take, if they hit it, see they're not hitting it. Okay. Still super tepid, so. Alright. Good trade. We did really good today, guys. Click that like button. Click that like button. I appreciate it.
Live Action says didn't Steinmeier SP once say MP does not work?
I don't know. See, so here's my thought on volume profile and market profile. Why does it work? Is there some reason? Is there something about the way that markets or human minds work that causes market profile to work? Because when I read Mind Over Markets, it was a really good explanation for the auction process, and that was all good. Okay, that was solid theory. That's the sort of stuff that we're looking for. But then when they started saying things like, okay, if we get into a previous day's volume profile, then there's a 60% chance to move through it. And I think that they did a study and they did a stat on that. Maybe it's changed since then, but that's how they got it. Was there was a stat. But why?
Live Action says maybe we are witness a changing market.
Yeah. And see, the thing is if there's no reason why, then it could be a statistical anomaly that's going to be very easily arbitraged away. You know, I want to have a good theory behind it. Like this thing with the hammer. I tell you what, I've gotten great trades off the hammer. First of all, okay, look, they're gonna go for the open. I'm trying to think now to justify my taking the profit there, but I think that my reasoning here is that they were being really weird about that price, and I'm not 100% sure that they can really take the open, and so that's why I wanted to take the profit at the place where the probability drops, and it seemed like it was there. I guess I could have gotten another $5 or $10 out of it, but hey, 40's not bad. 40's not bad. Anyways, the hammer bar I like, because the hammer bar indicates that sellers overextended and are trapped. There's a reason that it works. Now, of course, there's still going to be statistical stuff about it because, how do you have your chart set up and different time frames and all of these sorts of things? And are people just reading the chart and doing it because of the chart and all that nonsense? But if there's an underlying reason why it should work, then that's way better than if it's just a random thing that we've discovered, And so I asked that with volume profile and any of those stats is, why does it work? Why does it work? And if it just works because that's
Live
just the way it is.
Live Action says hammer bar, but on what time frame, and providing all feeds of participants are correlated.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's where I'm saying I think that it works because shorts got trapped at 33.34. Somebody told me that there was a big buy. That there was a big buy at 35. I don't know if I saw that. It looks to me like I could potentially change this down. So let's change this to 200. I could run the stats on it, but it looks pretty clear to me that most of the orders are under 200. So
Fazula Tazabayev says, good evening, everyone. My time IIS 2017 grinning face.
Oh man, it sounds like it's my bedtime over there, dude. Don't stay up too late. I remember I had a friend from Australia, and this was always early for him. Now, you notice how they came back into that open and they're trailing down? This is exactly what I was worried about. So even though I took my profit a little bit early, there was a reason that I wanted to take my profit there. Because I knew that the open was going to be a price that they would have a hard time overcoming. And the cumulative delta did not come back all the way. So, I don't know. That was weird. Somebody posting a cool footprint chart.
Live Action says it works and it doesn't. This is a game where filters of experience apply.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so I was saying, in terms of like time frames and stuff like that, like I think it's a good point, Live Action. That's why I think, okay, if we do it on a 5-minute chart and that happens, then that means that on a 5-minute basis that sellers are trapped on a 5-minute basis. And my theory would be, and the reason it works is the higher of a time frame that you're looking at, the better it's going to be because the more traders that are caught on it. That makes sense. And it really has nothing to do with the exacts of it. Like, for instance, I don't care if that hammer is an up close bar. All I care about is that in 5 minutes, sellers were trapped, and that we the open and close ended up being, like the top quarter of the bar. And yeah, it could look different on different time frames, but generally speaking, most time frames that you're going to catch on that are going to look pretty similar to that. But it doesn't have to be exact, because the condition that is being created is short sellers being trapped. And we just have one way of catching it with a bar chart. We could have also have seen it in order flow, couldn't we? Because when we pull this over, I'll show you that you can see that. You can see down here at the bottom. Oh my gosh, I always close my stupid pen. So here it was right here. And you can see sellers overextended. Price moved up. Cumulative delta was flat to down. They got stopped out. It worked.
Live Action says, I know a floor trader who used single color bars, saying the colored ones would throw him off.
That's funny. I tell you what, so you know how so John was complaining about this the other day, that when you move up, the more that you move up, the less significant the moves actually are, right? And that even if you do a logarithmic chart, that it's deceptive to you. And I was kind of thinking, like, yeah, it's kind of true. Like, even with the colors, the way that the charts work, especially in the E-mini, it's like when I see a red bar, it stands out to me way more than a green bar. So yeah, it's interesting. It feels like it should be 8:30 right now. Well, let's post our crypto notes while we're sitting here thinking about it. Anyways, that Vista chart in the E-mini sure worked really well again today. I've caught this trade many times lately, and didn't work out for me yesterday, but today we more than made up. Like today we had some losses. We just overcame today's losses and yesterday's losses, and then picked up a little bit extra. So that was great. That was great. I'm glad that I let that one run a bit. But it had to set up.
Gary Rich says it's all part of the dark magic. Spooky.
Yeah, I don't know. So here's Gary Rich. Here's the thing that I don't understand. I don't know how I'm doing it. Like, let me rephrase. Yesterday, I took 4 trades, and all but one of them actually had 8 ticks positive excursion and very minimal adverse excursion up until the trades ended up losing. So if I was taking my 2 points like I would like to and not letting them run, then it would have been good. So that says to me that the spots that I'm picking is really good. Now, I have on my charts over here, I have the moving average that you recommended, and I have the previous bar median that Uzi recommended, and I have the Fisher transform on there. And I do kind of use those as a guide, like I'm watching them, but I don't sit down and I say, when this number gets to here, or when we're crossing this thing or whatever. I kind of have those numbers in my head where I can see where they cross and stuff. And then I'm watching the DOM and I'm picking them. And it seems like I'm doing well, but I couldn't say to you exactly how I picked that price or why it's, and so I'm not sure if I'm really seeing something, and somehow my mind is subconsciously combining all those things together in a way that I'm not consciously aware of, or if it's just I'm randomly doing well. But it really seems to me that since I spoke to you, that I've been doing better. In fact, I'll show you. Where is it? Let me. I have to set things up because I don't want to see the account numbers. Where is it? Dashboard. Oh, I have to refresh everything. I hate that. Analytics has some problems. I wish I could just move out the new stuff into a different window. Okay, my dashboard. Let's just do like I can't remember when you told me that stuff. Okay, sure. Let's try this sixth. Let's start from the 16th. Okay, I think that it was around there. Well, let's just do the last 2 weeks. Okay. Okay. Oops, and we should only do the live trades too. That'll make a little bit of a difference. Yeah.
Live Action says at Gary Rich we were talking about PNF charts in the old days. I was unaware of market profile, but PNF charts have a market profile characteristic.
Oh wow, has it really been that few trades? I guess so. Okay, so in the last 2 weeks, according to this, I have taken 8 trades. 4 of them have been winners, 4 of them have been losers. But overall, where's the chart? Overall, I'm up. Of course, it's helped by some big winners. Hold on, let's go back and include the sim ones. Because I feel like that I've taken way more trades than that lately. It's still only... Um, 5.
Gary Rich says with a hammer you need to wait for more confirmation. Just in case it's a fake out. Order flow assist in that additional confirm.
Sure. Okay, but the thing that's amazing about this is like look at the things, okay? MFE is 15 and MAE is 5. So I'm getting like 3-to-1 risk reward right now. And I can't completely explain how I'm doing that. Even this one, like we came out to the open, we came back. Like I just knew. It's not like I have some statistic. I just knew that the open's going to be a price. You're going to have a hard time getting out. I probably want to get out before that. Worked out. I don't know. So I'm really having like I feel like a head case right now. Like am I really getting it, or is it just random? Because I can't explain how I'm doing it. I mean, I can tell you what I'm looking at, and I can explain the individual trades and why I took them. But there still seems to be like this little component that's like, how did I pick that individual price? I can't explain how I did that.
Says I bit late, but my 2 cents. Once I talked to a fund manager which also just used mono-colored bars, only high, low and close as a white dot in the bar. Live Action says that's way too much. Sanders would say that's unfair. 3idet says the explanation was to turn off anything that would lead us to make decisions based on emotions or false assumptions, rather than simply objectively observing what we see.
Yeah.
Gary Rich says at Live yes. Weird when you step back and examine those things of the past.
Well, so let's look at that. So what do we have going on here for me? I have this chart here that I mainly use for the cumulative delta. And I do watch these things, but I don't know. Like for instance, you get this. Yeah, like they come right. How do you know when they're going to go through them and not? That's kind of I don't know if those particular things matter so much, but they sure always look like they matter in retrospect, don't they? But the cumulative delta is the thing that I care about there. Okay, so I got the cumulative delta. I have my DOM, and then over here I've got bars. These bars are colored based on whether it was like an inside bar or not. All objective measures. Okay, CCI. This one tells me where we are, green or red, on certain time frames. Stochastics. I didn't even know I have the stochastics on there. I'm not even looking at that.
3idet says I was triggered when you said that red has more impact than green on you.
Oh yeah. Well, I think on this particular chart, it's not the fact that it's the colors, it's that the red bars are colored in and the green bars aren't. So that's what John was saying on if we go back here, see this bar right here that's yellow? It's actually filled in, so it actually was a down close bar. Even though it looks bright green, but it's yellow. So I misread that one. There's some situations where the bar will get colored yellow or white. I don't remember what makes it color yellow. Oh, it's an outside bar. That's what it is. This is an outside bar. And so I'm having it colored in or not colored in for me to differentiate between up bars or down bars. Normally
Live
on a
action
chart,
says at 3idet I agree.
and I might change the colors here later, but normally on a chart I like blue and orange. But it's I think it's a psych. I don't think it's the color. I think it's a psychological thing. I think that it's like the orange means that they're moving down, and when you see it, it like stands out to me. It's like you see this right here? That was 42. Should I? Um. Yes, I did. I held through it. I let it come back up to here. Took it off somewhere in here. Probably, well, let's see here. Open. What closed was 810. So, yes, it was around here. 810. So, it was around here. So, even though it went a little bit higher, I did the right thing. I think that if I had decided to hold it here and would have gone up, I would have been like, oh, yeah, let's get gone.
Gary Rich
Then I would
says
have
just
lost
give
it all.
it time. You'll have the days where nothing works, but keep at it. Stick with it. Over time you'll see it begin to come together.
Yeah. Well, so but I don't think you really answered my question. Is from your observation?
Live action says at 3idet about keeping it super simple so you can focus on what is really happening.
Do you think that adding those things on has helped me and that I am getting better at it, or do you think that it's random? And how do I know the difference? That's the question. Said I was going to generate the charts, and then I started talking about something else, and I never actually did it. That's funny. Mm-hmm. Okay, what's it giving? Upper is 12. Sheesh. The Treasury is in a crappy spot. Ooh. Yeah. That's not my favorite. Look at how it's just been going sideways. Man. And like little bits, and they're kind of equal amount of liquidity on both sides. That's that's balanced at 03 half 14. Sorry, 13 half 14.
Live Action says Jigsaw's old trading room sounded like Davies was narrating used naked single color bar charts.
Old trading room? Naked single color bar charts. Huh. I don't know. I really do feel like that my chart is too complicated, but I definitely don't need the stochastics on there. But it just, I don't know. It's like kind of, yeah, I don't know. I see something in everything that's on there, and I'm still kind of trying to develop it.
Live Action says yes, opened during German cash.
Huh. And it was a video. Was it you had videos, or was it just he posted pictures, or what?
Live Action says I was in it.
That's cool. So was it? It wasn't like a live stream, was it? How long ago was that? Today's Thursday, right? Yes. Okay. Publish.
Live Action says yes, live stream.
Ah. I wasn't familiar that you ever did that. That's a good MD says. How do you compile in Visual Studio? That's funny. I don't think you can. Maybe you can. I don't know. Probably pressed F5. That's funny. I have to look. Okay, hey, it's snowing really bad outside, so I think I should just like get going.
Gary Rich says Seth, I think it may have helped you from a different perspective or observation.
Okay,
Live
you know what?
Action
Maybe
says
you're right.
around when they were starting out, moderator was a 100 lot trader.
Gary, maybe that's Maybe you're right. Maybe my mindset is a little bit different. I do feel like that talking to you has kind of changed the way that I'm trying to look at things. Because I think sometimes I get into this mode where I'm just like, I'm going to see a level 2 aberration. And then when I see it, I'm going to click. And when that happens, sometimes I think that I am clicking and I don't really know what that aberration means. And I'm just guessing what it does. And sometimes I think that I'm taking it on, yeah, it was an aberration, but like, does it really matter? And I think that that's more the case.
Gary Rich says my charts are very simple, but my process is complicated. I factor so many different things that could come.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that's the way that it turns out. I make a lot of mistakes that way. Anyways, I really should go because I think I should go drive into work. Because this might be the last day that I work for a while. And I still want to go to the gym as well. But it's snowing really bad. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Remember, I'll be there tomorrow, but it's going to be a short session because we need to be to the hospital at 7:30. So we're going to trade the ADP, and it'll be fun. And I'll give you guys updates both through the community tab on YouTube and on Discord. Yeah, I'm excited.
Live Action says, Seth, thanks, congrats.
I'm probably, yeah. We'll talk about this tomorrow. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. In the meantime, stay profitable, friends. Good day. Click that like button.